Hey everybody, Steve from Flite Brothers here. Today I'm doing a unboxing, really an unbagging I guess, of this new Diatone Tyrant 180 version 1.1 frame. Now the frame is pretty much identical to the original Tyrant 180. The only difference supposedly is in the PDB design. They have, what Diatone's told me, is optimized the circuitry, and they've also added a filter into the video feed, an LC filter. So we're going to check it out, see what it looks like, and then after this video I'm going to work on a build video for this frame as well. So let's go ahead and cut this open, and we'll get a look in here. So this is a vacuum sealed package that they sent me with everything in it. So this is the mini camera mount that will bolt right on the front. Got a package here full of a whole bunch of different little connectors. I believe a couple of these will be for the buzzer, the VCC, ESCs, and some other cables for the different things that we'll need. So it comes with all of those. I'm going to say the same thing I said about the cables that come with the thin nays. That is the flight controller that usually goes with the Diatone Tyrant. They sent me one of these for review previously, and if you saw the review I'm going to say the same thing. I wish they were all this silicone wire like came for the ESC wire, receiver wires for this flight controller. Silicone wires are just so much nicer. I don't know how much different a price it would have been, but that's just one thing that I wish was a little different about these wirings that come with a lot of the Diatone products. I really wish these were silicone wire, but either way, at least it comes with all the connections you need, all the wires you need, and I believe it's a few extra things for flexibility, because not everyone's going to use the thin nays, which makes the easiest connections into the PDB. But if you're using something different, you've got some extra wiring and things that you need for that as well. They sent me some stickers, which of course are now all crinkled up. Tyrant stickers as well. Alright, you have the motor protectors slash feet that go on the ends of the arms. These are pretty handy. They look kind of cool, but they are bulky. They add quite a bit of weight, and actually these little feet things will break off in crashes pretty easily and need replacing, but they're only a couple dollars to replace. So if you like them and if it works for you, great. Truthfully, I prefer just a flat bottom frame and to keep the weight down. So I might throw these on for the build initially, but I doubt I'll keep them on when I'm flying. We also have a bag full of hardware here. We have all of the screws, standoffs, and other items that we need to get this thing all put together. So here are the different aluminum standoffs. These are the tall ones for the camera mount in the front. These are the small ones for the rest of the top plate, and also the spacer ones that go in between the shorter top plate and the taller camera plate. So we got all those. We also have, these are nylon standoffs and nylon screws that will hold the flight controller on, the PDB. And then your whole collection of different length M3 screws. These look like the 2mm hex head M3 screws that will put the frame together. So all the hardware required, and then we're going to take a look at these different pieces. Now it looks like everything comes, okay, I see how they did it. They zip tied the top plates onto it, and I guess that also helps hold the PDB down into the carbon fiber there. Soldering temperature must be within 300 and 350 degrees. High temperature easily burns and hurts the PDB. Alright, well that's surprisingly in decent English. Anyway, moving on, let's cut this cable tie here. Just going to be careful not to damage anything. There we go. And pull that out. All right, and that's going to give us a look at the camera plate. This is the plate that goes above the camera. I'm noticing right away, this is kind of nice, they actually left slots for a strap on the top plate here, which will come in handy if you're going to strap on any kind of HD camera mount on top for video recording. So I might do a GoPro mount on there, and I can definitely use that. Here's the regular top plate. Looks like both of these are 2mm, and plenty of different options for your routing your cables. I believe this one here is meant to be for the FPV antenna, and we have a lot of different places for straps or whatever else you're going to need to hold your battery or accessories on. I should say this carbon fiber seems nice and stiff. I honestly am no expert in carbon fiber. I know that the carbon fiber that comes on the Diatone ZMR 200 frame, which I built for a friend of mine, has held up really well. So I have an expectation that this carbon fiber is also going to be very durable. Then you have the 4mm bottom plate, nice and thick. And of course, the one thing that makes the Diatone Tyrant really unique is the inlaid PDB. This is a full frame PDB, which typically I hate. But the one thing that Diatone did different than all those other full frame PDBs is this isn't acting as a bottom plate. This is, or a middle plate rather. This is acting, this is inlaid as part of the 4mm carbon fiber bottom plate here, one piece bottom plate. So it's a lot more protected. It's not going to necessarily be damaged as easily as your typical full frame PDB that acts as a middle plate. So that actually to me is really intriguing. I really have been against full frame PDBs from the get-go, but the way they've inlaid this and the added protection that that gives is really kind of cool. So hopefully it works. And honestly, the Tyrant's been out for a couple months now. I haven't heard of anybody breaking them, so I think it's working well. But let's take a look at what's different. This again is the version 1.1. So this is the new version of the Diatone, and everything else up to this point has been identical to the original Tyrant, except the PDB is what they changed. So if we go ahead and take a look, I'm going to put this over here. So on the left side of your screen, you have the original Diatone PDB for the Tyrant, and on the right side, you have the new PDB for the Tyrant, the version 1.1. On the left side, you can see that on the bottom, towards the back of the frame, the two buck converters, that are switching BECs for the 12 volt and 5 volt feeds, are towards the back of the frame, whereas on the new PDB, the 5 volt and 12 volt BECs are located in the middle of the frame, which will be underneath your flight controller when it gets mounted here in the center. Down here, where the BECs were on the original frame, is now this set of 4 surface mount capacitors and this filter here. And if you can see these traces on the board, you can see that those go from the power of the battery in, goes straight through that little circuit and then goes out to the BECs and to the other parts of the circuit board. So what this is just a filter and suppressor for the main power lead, so that any voltage spikes or anything like that that might damage your accessories around the board are now going to be protected. And so this is a nice feature, and I believe this also provides some filtration for the video system as well, to prevent any of those black lines and things like that that can occur when you're hitting full throttle in your FPV feed. So that's a great added feature to have on here. The other differences are that these connectors here for the VTX and the VBAT are now pointing towards the back. The buzzer is in the same place, the switch is in the same place, your ESC hookup about the same place, and your camera hookup is the same place. Another nice feature on this PDB is that at the camera and VTX end, there's extra voltage pads all the way around the PDB there. on the camera connector there's 5-volt out, but if you have a camera you'd rather run off of 12 volts or battery voltage, you can just tie that wire into one of these pads here for 12-volt battery voltage. There's even a 5-volt and another battery voltage on this side. Same thing for VTX, which I prefer to run off of a 12-volt, but this connector has a VCC voltage connector on there. So I would just simply disconnect or remove that wire and use the 12-volt pad right here for that. The final thing that's different between these two PDBs is the ESC connections. There is no longer a signal ground in between the positive and negatives for the ESCs. You now have a positive, a signal, and a ground. And there's really no reason for a signal ground. You can just tie in the signal ground into the negative right here if you're going to use it. And it's not going to make any difference. So that's the only other difference. So this wraps up my unboxing, review, and comparison of the new Diatone Tyrant version 1.1 PDB and frame kit. And I want to thank Diatone for sending it to me for this review. Ever since the Tyrant came out, I've been really liking the look of the frame and really excited to give it a shot. And I'm just thrilled that Diatone sent this to me to put together and to see how it goes. So I'm going to be building this up very shortly, and I'll get a build video up for you. I'm going to wind up using this Diatone Thin Naze Rev 6B that they sent me, which is the same exact naze that would go on the Tyrant Plug and Fly, which is another very popular version of this that comes fully loaded with all the equipment you need minus the receiver. So I'm going to use this Flite controller. I have some little B20s that I'll be putting on the arms with some Emax MT 2204s 2300 kV motors. I have some other more powerful motors coming, but I can't wait to get this build going, so I'm going to use what I have for now, and I'll give you that build video as soon as I have it done. Guys, I want to thank you all for watching and for continuing to support the Flite Brothers YouTube channel, and I just ask that you would please like, share, and of course subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and we'll catch you next time.